now that we've realized how we've had some negative situations coming up, when was the first time that you like experienced true joy of being who you are in your my Black experience of saying, I'm Black and I'm proud, and why?
This is gonna sound, and you asking me that, I can honestly only say the very first thing that comes to my mind. It was through church.
Wow.
Because growing up in the South, again, South Carolina, the Bible Belt, we are raised in the church. Church is not an option. You going to church.
No matter what you do on Saturday.
Exactly.
You go to church
on Saturday.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So being raised in the Black church, Baptist church, and also seeing all of my friends around me, even though we might not have gone to the same church, we all had that same upbringing. And that is one thing that even in religion, I think religion spreads across all ethnicities of people, but at that time I knew the Black church. And that's what was instilled in me. So that is what I found joy in. That is what, outside of loving the Lord, but the fact that this is what we do as Black people in the Black church, and we're proud of this. We never, a Black person it was never scared to tell you, I love the Lord. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So it's like that was where my first experiences of being Black and being joyful, being proud of being Black, was just being around all of these people within the church, and then for us that extended into the community, because most of the people that live in the same communities all went to the same churches. So the same people that you went to church with on Sunday was the same people that you was going to see Monday through Friday on the street, who your grandma was cool with, who your mama was cool with, or either they grew up in church together. A lot of things within our communities just extended back to the church. And I found joy in that, and I was proud of that. And that's something even now to this day, I find joy in, and I love it. What about you?
I think there's different, I've had different experiences. Being as though, again, we're going to the age thing. I've had many different, because there's, you know, as you get older and you have different levels of experiences. But I know you brought it back, church, yes. Even, here, church, yes. But in that microcosm, there was, I just remembered, we had our Girl Scout troop.
Okay, yes.
My Girl Scout troop, I couldn't wait to join the Girl Scouts. I couldn't wait to join the choir in the church. It's called the Ebony Voices.
We were the last.
Can't sing a lick, but
we were the last Crusaders.
We were the Ebony Voices. And you had to be of a certain age to join. And so that was like when you get to certain levels and things that you're now able to do, that brought me joy. But being proud as a Black woman to show to be honest with you, wasn't until in my adult professional life, I did not finish my degree. And I got a job at a nonprofit organization, and as the receptionist, because I was newly divorced, 2 kids, got this job as the receptionist, and then moved up from the receptionist to the event, to their meetings department, event planning. They have a national meeting every year. Thousands of attendees, blah, blah, all that. I was the assistant. And the woman, the young white woman who was my boss, who was mentoring me, teaching me the ropes of event planning, meeting planning, got a better job and left. And the director of the board of directors, what is that? One of the trustees or board of directors was a Black woman from Temple University. And she spoke to me and she asked me, she said, well, do you want to step up into this role? This was directorship.
Right.
And I was like, sure, I know I can do it. I can do
You
it.
are very organized. Your organization skills.
So the first national meeting, they put me in temporarily because she left midway through. It's an annual conference, planning it. And I went to San Francisco for the first time. It was a meeting of over 5,000 attendees, mind you. We're in the San Francisco Hilton. I have to organize breakout rooms, attendance. I had never had so many vendors. I had to go out, do the pre-site, all of this. And our keynote speaker was Stedman Graham, Oprah man. And all I kept saying to myself was, one, these were social work people. So again, in social work, not too many Black, not even in the organization. No one was out front. I had to run this thing. Meeting went off beautifully. We were there for 2 days prior. Meeting was 4 days. I stayed 2 days after because I was about to fall out. And when it was done, after everything was over, and we had that, it was like a little cocktail party with all of the trustees. I sat in the window of on the 60-something floor of the Hilton Hotel, and the tears fell. Like a movie. Ooh. It was. The tears fell because for me, I accomplished something. One, I didn't think most people thought that this young Black woman could do. And do it in such a professional manner. And I know that they were looking at it. They were really looking at me because of who they thought I was. And what I actually put on the table was way more than what they thought it was. So that brought joy to me.
But you want to know what's funny hearing you say that? That goes back and shows me so much as to why you run, why you do what you do now. And it makes so much sense. Because I was going to go back and say also, when you said about the different points in your life, for me, yes, younger, but now, I think this kind of goes back into the cheerleading realm of things. Growing up, as you know, when we talked about the different styles of cheerleading, I've only cheered one style, which is traditional, which is what you predominantly see the white team.
All American.
Correct. All American cheerleaders. So coming in now and coaching with you, a predominantly Black team of Black young women.
Besides being coaches for these beautiful adults
of Cheer New
York, us two crazy people also coach teenage girls.
Yes, 6 through 12.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want so we coach Cheer New York together, but we also coach them together. And our team is predominantly Black young women. So coaching them and bringing the style of stomp and shake, the style of traditional, and we also compete nationally. We go to nationals every year. We're a regional championship team. Regional champs. That brings me so much joy going in. And like you said, they automatically have the stereotype. And I mean, it's a stereotype, but in some ways it does happen where they see an all Black team and they don't match. They all have on different uniforms, different shoes. It's not the same. But when we go in and like you said, what they think we're going to present and then what we put on the table is like, oh my gosh. And that is a feeling that I would pick over any other feeling, any other day, because it makes me so proud to be Black, and I couldn't see myself coaching any other thing. Couldn't. I couldn't, because I don't think that I've ever felt that, because I never myself personally cheering, I never got to experience that. So now coaching it's kind of like, it's a different feeling.
It's a totally different feeling, because we are helping, like, the experiences. They're learning a sport, because as we all know,
cheerleading is a sport. Yes, it is.
So we're gonna make that claim right now.
Period.
Period, exclamation mark. Done. So they're experiencing a new sport. The discipline of the sport.
Yes.
Because as you all know, my first thing is always safety of our athletes, whether they be our adult athletes or our youth athletes.
Correct.
Always safety first. Opportunities of going places. They get to go. Some of them have gone to sleepaway camp and have been away from home for the first time. They get to travel, not just, across state lines, like from New York to New Jersey, but they get to travel on an airplane. I've had now 3 young ladies who
first time ever flying.
One almost made the plane have to stop mid takeoff because they got up to go to the bathroom. But I digress. And didn't know that they weren't supposed to get up while we were about to take off. But that's another story dear to my heart. But enabling them to have experiences
that they wouldn't get,
that they wouldn't necessarily get, or let me just go back one more time to another story that I just remembered when it comes to sports and athletes. When I was younger, I was an athlete. I ran track, played basketball, played volleyball, but I also swam. Okay. Which is another sport, which is why it came up. Where here in Queens, there was one team. It was a rec. It was back then it was called Andrew Jackson High School. It's now Campus Magnet High School. But they had a swim club on the weekends. So if you weren't part of the school, you could
still be a part
of the club. And I loved the water, and so I swam. And Daily News novice champion, all this other stuff, and I loved it. So then I moved on to high school. And my high school had a swim team. Mind you, we had to travel to practice. But I said that was one thing my mother kept telling me. This was before now, which we now see more of it. She was like, you could be one of the first Black young ladies in the Olympics. You could swim. And my mother, she always would, push me. She would be there. My uncles would be there. I get to high school, a predominantly white high school. It's a specialized high school here in New York City. I went to Townsend Harris High School at Queens College. The second graduating class, 1989. Dominantly white. Everybody came from all 5 boroughs, though. And I tried out for the swim team. I made the swim team. However, there were I think it was like 20 girls on the swim team. There was only 2 Black women when I was there. Myself and another young lady, but she was a diver. She wasn't a swimmer. Okay. And I just realized I never felt so out of place. Not only was the coach a white male, and I had all of these white, and we're just gonna put it out there plain. I had all these white young women on the team with me who ignored me at practice, on the way to practices, on the way to meet. There was no one on that team that would speak to me. You know how you're on a team, you have camaraderie, you want to talk, you have a little bit of at least one. Nobody. Until it was time to get more points.
Then everybody wanted to be a friend.
Then the coach was like, okay, Ab, I need you to go swim this. In addition to the swim, what I was already competing in. Now, in order for us to win, now y'all coming looking for me, sitting over here in the corner by myself, trying to figure out why am I here, but yet you're gonna come. And I remember that now as we're sitting here having this discussion vividly. But I felt if I was to say something, what response I would get from why does it always got to be a Black thing? Why does it always have to be?
Because it is.
But in that situation, blatantly, you're not going to tell me I was a bully. I wasn't bullying anybody. I was the freshman. You all were older, sophomores, or I was a sophomore and you guys, were juniors. Everybody was already there. I would speak. But it was still like I was not a part of that team. So I didn't stay. And I could see in my mom's face, and it kind of hurt me too, because I had aspirations in a sport, in swimming, knowing that I could have done something with it. But because of the atmosphere around me and how they made me feel or not feel, I changed my direction. Which is sad. And we look now at these young women, and even I look at myself like if I would have had the opportunity to cheer in this manner, traditional manner or a little bit more organized. Now, would I have, excelled in that then and still been doing this now? I had girlfriends who were cheerleaders and boosters. So New York City, we had cheerleaders and we had boosters.
Okay.
Back then.
What's a booster?
So boosters are the cheerleaders that stay in the stands and do all the steps and make all the noise.
So the pep club.
Basically.
Okay.
But they had similar uniform. They had the skirt. Yes, they did.
You can't be on the. You can't.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Listen to what I'm saying. Look at you. Look at you. Being a leader, everybody. The difference was, this is what the difference was. Cheerleaders could do cartwheels and flips, so they were down on
the field.
They still did the same steps and stuff, but the only difference was they could do an occasional
cartwheel.
That was it.
Oh wow!
Because that part of the sport of there was no stunting, there was no it was different.
It was different. The difficulty
that's
there now
is not there. So just working through all of that, and so how I know how you. I'm gonna let you answer this one. I already know the answer, but I'm gonna let you answer for the fans in the stands.
Okay.
So how do you showcase your pride in who you are now?
Oh wow!
See, look at you. Can't even come up with one.
How do I showcase my pride? Honestly, I think for me, and this is gonna sound so crazy, it's just being myself, because I can honestly say there are a lot of gay Black men who can't say that they've always known who they were and they were always comfortable with who they were.
Not.
I have always known who Matthew Brown was, and I have always been comfortable in who Matthew Brown was. And that's another reason why the question earlier, I revert back to my family. Coming from the South, from a very strong Christian Black family, there aren't many who will, even though I wasn't the most flamboyant, but you can't tell me that my family didn't know I was gay. I know they knew. From the time I was little, I knew that they knew. But they never made me feel like anything was wrong. Or like I was a misfit, or I needed to change, or what I felt wasn't right. They never made me feel that way. So I was always proud to be myself. And I think that that's something that that's the best way that I can present my pride today, is just by being Matthew and being strong and comfortable and happy and proud in my moments of being sad and right and wrong and mad and everything, just being happy being me. And I know, and that was something also that it took a while for me to understand, coming into growing up where I did and coming into the gay community, and not really understanding that we all are so different and we're all raised different. We all have so many different experiences. And there are so many, especially young gay Black men, who have so many horrible and terrible experiences that I didn't get and I didn't understand and I didn't actually know. Oh my God, like that's a thing, like that happens to kids, to young kids, and I didn't get it and understand it, and it just made me become even more thankful and grateful for who I am and how I was raised and the opportunities that I've been given in life, because there are so many people that don't get them and don't have them.
But I can tell you, watching you, I know that you are also open and there for those who may have had those experiences to talk to.
Correct.
And work out, or a sounding board or whatever. Like you're there for them, even though you may not have gone through it.
I now understand.
You now understand it, but you're also there to help others through if they are going through.
Yeah. Because it's like we all, like what you just said earlier. Like we always say, it's that double negative. I'm not. When I walk out of the house, the first thing that they see is the fact that I'm a Black man. And then boom, when you add the sexuality onto it, a gay Black man, it's like, oh hell, here we go. I'm sorry. But it can be hard.
I can see now why, for me, I have always been an advocate for anyone
Right.
who needs a shoulder, a hand, or anything. I can think back to second grade, and this is crazy that I can think back to second grade on the playground. There was a young girl who I don't know what her situation was at home. You know, back then, second, third grade, you don't know what people's situations are at home, but you just know that you know, back then in the 70s, I'm telling you, I'm dating myself. You know, when you wore your dresses, you wore your tights, and you know, we had our, you know, our 70s gear on, that like that 70s show. We had our tights on, and I remember there was a young girl who was a friend of mine. At least that's what I thought. I looked at her as a friend of mine who would, you know, every once in a while would have a hole or run. You know, it didn't bother me. I ain't care.
Right.
But there was always that person who had to pick on them because they just had to pick on them. Right. And I was that person in the playground, like, look, let me tell you something. Leave that young lady alone. Leave that person alone. I was always that again, I guess that's why I was Stormcloud 1 or 2. I was that mouthpiece for, I wanted to, you know, I wanted to take that pain away or shield you or help you go through that. And my mom always made sure I knew that I was a Black woman. I was a young Black woman. I should be proud of it. You know, always in everything that you do and however you present yourself, be proud of it. Yes. And I can see how she was that way. She instilled that in me. And now I can see it in both of my children, how I've instilled it in them. And it wasn't like I didn't have to get beat over the head with it. I lived it. I felt it. I learned, you know, my history. Yep. And I knew what my mother went through. Yep. And I saw it, and I knew that I could make a change as time progressed. I could create opportunities, and I could also right wrongs. I could also stand up and speak out when I see wrong.
And I think that's something that for us comes with, it's something that comes within the entire, not the entire, but majority of the Black community because of the past and experiences and things that have happened. Our grandparents, our great-grandparents did it to our grandparents. Our grandparents did it to our parents. So our parents definitely did it to us. The passing down, like you said, of instilling certain things within us because they knew at that time that life wasn't going to always be easy. No. And even when it's going good for you, it might not be going good for the person standing next to you. Correct. So you have to do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Man, we used to say that. Okay, again, I'm tired of dating myself. Besides the fact that every day before school started, you had to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Of course. Also had to say the golden rule. We had to say, do unto others as you have others do unto you. I don't know why we said that in school. Don't get me wrong.
I be beating up kids so you be good. I try to be good.
I was buzzed. I couldn't be but so bad.
Right.
You have to remember that. So, in one word, or try to. Okay. Express your Black boy joy. Ooh. You just can't say one word.
Yeah. That secretly is the reason, but I would have to say powerful. Powerful.
Good.
That is, yeah. Powerful is the word that resonates the most for me. Because I know that one of the reasons why people try to keep us down is because they know the power. That when we realize the power that they have, they're afraid of the power that's going to exude and come out. What about you?
Well, I don't have Black boy joy.
Well, Black girl magic.
I got Black girl magic.
Okay.
Okay. One word. Black girl magic for me. Strength. Strength.
Yes. Because
there's just something I I know when we were all discussing Black Lives Matter and you know, microaggressions and people realizing or not realizing whether they feel racist or they're not racist or whatever. One of the things that always resonated in me, and you kind of hit it just a few seconds ago, is like there's an inner strength that I don't know. I don't know why. I just know that it's there.
Yeah.
I see it and I try to groom it and pull it out of other young Black women because I know that that's something that we need.
Yeah.
We must have.
Yeah. And it's there.
And it's there.
It is.
And it gives me joy because I know that through all the trials, tribulations, and I'm telling you, we could be on this thing for hours with all trials, tribulations that I have been through as an adult, as a child, as a parent, as a friend, as a wife, as a girlfriend, as all of that. The one thing that I take, and everybody giggles, but from Project Runway, my favorite thing, and I always say it, make it. I will make it work.
Yeah.
I will take whatever it is, make it work.
And you will.
If it's spitting gum, because I've watched the women in my life do it consistently.
And that's funny because when you said it, the first person that popped in my mind,
Mama Brown. I'm gonna tell you, it's Mama Brown.
My mom, because and I think that it's something, once again, that is like you said, when you see it in other Black women, because I think all Black women have. Yeah. It's
and we're not gonna say that everybody else don't have it, but there's a special inner strength.
It's that Black girl magic.
It's that Storm Cloud 1 and Storm Cloud 2. Yes. It's that inner Black girl magic that we just have, and I'm proud of it, and I will stand by it, and I will wear it across my chest. I wear it proudly every day when I go into work.
Yes.
When I go into a coaching situation, whether it's with adults or with youth, when I walk into a room, I bring it with me.
Yes. Always.
I walk into a room, I bring it with me, whether I am one of 20 Black women,
correct,
or one of 20 everybody else. Yeah. And I'm the only one, but I will bring it wherever I go.
Always. And then I think that that's something, especially for you and I, because we both have big personalities.
I do. Thought I was the quiet one.
Yeah.
I'm the, what is it? The quiet storm behind the hurricane.
Yeah. The eye of the hurricane.
I'm the eye of
the eye.
Because what the young people say is when we're coaching them, when they get Matthew mad, it's okay.
Yes. But when
I get mad,
there's a problem. Yeah, there's a problem. Yeah.
So we're just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. So this is our introduction to Cheer New York's My Black Experience.
Season
1. Episode 1.
Yes.
So we will be having
different
talks,
discussions,
bringing different people in,
yes,
so that we can express not just our points of view, hear other points of view, hear other experiences.
Yes.
Because as we all know, Cheer New York is made up of many different folks.
Like we said earlier, New York is a melting pot.
New York is a melting pot, and so is Cheer New York.
Yes.
And being an ally, I just want to say
thank you.
Being an ally, I just want to, like I said, I've always been an advocate. I've always, felt that I, am an ally of the LGBTQIA+.
There you go.
Community. All of them. I love people. I love empowering folks. So this is our way of giving back.
Yes.
And we just want to take the moment before we sign off to thank our executive producers.
Yes,
Dashana and Isaac, and our marketing guru Malaya, for giving us this opportunity and working this out. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, you can send it to those that group.
Yes,
And
the social,
go through the social page or however you want to email them. And we are
looking forward
to keep to
more fun times.
This is what we do.
Always. This is normal for us.
And we're not driving.
Yeah,
we're actually sitting still because we're always doing something.
Yes.
So we thank you for taking the time out to listen
so
to us about our experiences, and we look forward to episode number 2.
See you soon.
See you soon.